Greetings everyone, and welcome back to what I had hoped to be an in-depth review, but kind of ended up being a rambly mess, so I do apologize for the structure of this one. Hopefully it still makes some sense in the end. A few weeks back I had a look at the Xiaomi or Moaan e-reader, which wasn't all that good, especially for the price, but it was cool to see the technology behind an e-ink display. And I did say in that video that I'd love to try a color e-ink device, and a few days after I published that video, I was sent an email by a company called BIGME, which I've never heard of before, and they offered to send me one of their color e-ink devices to try out, which I was really excited to finally give color e-ink a shot. So a massive thank you to BIGME for sending this out to me for review. I really do appreciate it, and if you're interested in taking a look at this device, I'll leave a link in the description below, and that's not an affiliate link or anything like that, so I won't earn anything if you go there and check it out. It's just there for your convenience. Alternatively, you can Google it. It's completely up to you. Before I continue to tell you the specifications and pricing, I'll remind you all that timestamps are in the description as well as the pinned comment, so you can skip to wherever you need to be in this one. If you want to check out me talking about the display or attempting gaming on this, there's absolutely no problems jumping to wherever you need to be. Alright, so I'm taking a look at the BIGME B751C, which is a 7-inch color e-ink tablet, and it's currently retailing for 419 Australian dollars on Amazon, which, yeah, that's a bit steep, but just stick with me for this one. I'll display SMOOREZ's giant currency conversion chart on screen so you get a rough idea of how much this costs in various parts of the world. However, if we go onto BIGME's official site, they actually want 455 Australian dollars for this. I'm not sure if that even comes with free shipping or not. I'll say straight off the bat, that's expensive, but it's color e-ink and it's cool technology, but the question remains, is it worth the price? Well, I guess I'm going to try and explain that in this review. The advertising for this is fairly straightforward, but BIGME have a description which tells us the technology behind the e-ink display. It says we can display text in ebooks, websites, and other content in black and white and get tremendous resolution. Still, if you're freehand drawing or editing PDF files, reading comics, magazines, or other content, you'll get a vibrant, colorful experience. BIGME said the display is flicker-free, ensuring distortion-free text and images at all times. This is on BIGME's official website. Why are they saying that BIGME said the display is flicker-free? Just agree with it. The display also comes with 36 level adjustable warm and cold LED lights, which can be blended for an optimized screen when reading in the dark. The display also emits the least blue light and has received German Rhineland certification with a paper-like index score of 86. Other display attributes include X-Rapid quick brushing and automatic ghosting elimination technology, all of which ensure a pleasant and safe viewing pleasure of the highest order. One of the big selling points are the manual page turn buttons that have been around on the first generation of e-readers, but anywho, well-designed tactile feel when pressing them down when reading a book, similar to the Kindle Oasis, but better. That's what they're claiming. I'm not going to say it is because I haven't tested it. Apart from that little description, there's no fun images or anything like that, so I think it's best to tell you all the specifications of the device so you know exactly what you're getting for the money. We've got a MediaTek Helio P35 octa-core processor with a PowerVR Rogue GE8320 GPU. We've got 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of onboard storage, and there's also a micro SD card slot, which is good to see on this. The display is a 7-inch e-ink Carta 1200 display, which provides a resolution of 1264 by 1680 with 300 pixels per inch for black and white content. But then on the color side of things, it's a Kaleido 3 color display that provides a resolution of 632 by 840 with 150 pixels per inch. I haven't noticed the resolution changing when displaying color on screen, so I'm not too sure what they mean by this, so I'm going to stick with 1264 by 1680 for the resolution of the display. There's also a 36 level Frontlight for optimal reading in any scenario. The display also features Stylus support, which is included in the box. There's no cameras on this. Would have been cool to include one, but it is what it is. The battery is 2300 mAh, which will be plenty for reading ebooks and taking notes, but using it as a normal Android device will take a toll on battery life. This only has 5V 1A charging, so expect it to take a while to charge up from 0 to 100%. The OS is Android 11 and has a custom launcher on it to work with this type of device, and from testing, it's not overall a bad experience. There's also Google Play services, so you can go to the Play Store and download any app you want. We've got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, no NFC or FM radio, which is to be expected, Type-C USB with on-the-go support, no headphone jack, but we do have those 2 buttons they mentioned on the front, so you can assign them to turn pages or scroll down on a specific page, and they also work as volume buttons. There's just a single loudspeaker on this, so I can actually do a speaker test on this one, and there's also a microphone, so you can record voice memos and all that sort of thing. This is just a tablet and not a phone, so no network support here, but included in the package that I received, we've got the device itself, a case that has magnets in it to switch on the display once opened, the stylus, a USB cable, and instructions. So now that you know the pricing and quick specs, let me go ahead and unbox the B751C and see if it's worth the price. Before we do the unboxing, I haven't actually had many Amazon parcels delivered to me. This is the size of the box, and It should be fine. As you just seen, the box is quite big, so I can't quite fit it in frame, so I'll just open it off camera. As I said, I don't get anything from Amazon, so I have no idea if they just throw things in boxes and go, ah, yeah, that's fine. I don't know if it's got bubble wrap around it or not. I have no clue. So there was a box inside of a box, and then inside this box, we find another box that does have some bubble wrap on it. And finally, there it is. There's the device. The BIGME. I still like the name of this company, BIGME. It's just for you. Well, I don't plan on anyone else using it, so I'm pretty sure that's all good. 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage, so it's going to be significantly faster than the Moaan thing I had a look at. Nothing else around the box. It's pretty much just a plain white box, so let's keep going. Well, it's a fairly good unboxing experience for a device that costs this much. It's looking fairly good, so I assume that the device is in here, I'd say. Oh no, that's the case, which is fake leather. It's good that it comes with a case. It does feel nice though. And then opening this up reveals, there it is, the BIGME B751C. So that's the device there. Then we have our pen, which I'm definitely going to be trying out. And then also within this little box, we should get just a USB cable. Yep, USB cable, some instructions. The USB cable is also Type A to Type C. Oh, look, it's adorable. Oh, this is not batteries, it's just stylus tips. Yep, and then we also have what's the ring for? I don't know what the ring's for. We also get a SIM eject tool as well. Out comes the stylus, which is actually made of aluminium. Feels pretty solid. It's kind of like an Apple Pencil, sort of second gen, but you got buttons on there. What's at the top here? Oh no, the batteries. They're little tiny batteries. There we go. Kind of should have paid attention to the instructions on there. Power button, speaker, page turning buttons, indicator light, Type C, microphone. Do not squeeze, do not place heavy object on the product. Fragile screen, please handle with care, avoid dropping. And TF slot. But I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool looking. We've got color on the display, which is awesome. And it's super thin. It is all made of plastic. Feels sturdy enough. I've got a speaker grill just there, so I'll be doing a speaker test on this. Type C, indicator light, little tray for the micro SD card, and that's pretty much about it on here. And the 2 buttons as well, which feel a little bit iffy, but I'm sure I'll get used to them. And if I also put it in the case, it looks a little something like that. There's no magnets to shut it though. You would just put the pen just in this little loop, and there you go. That's the package there. Now, usually I don't look up reviews on YouTube before doing my own review, but with this one I actually did, and I've seen that there's an hour review by this person. Sorry, I didn't write your name down. If you want to know even more in-depth details than what I've done, I'd suggest looking at that video, because I want to test this as what it's intended for, a color ebook reader, but I also want to try normal Android functions, just to see if they're any more usable than what was on the Xiaomi Moaan tablet thing. Alright, so on we go. Yep, there it is. Okay. Oh, me big. I didn't notice that. Welcome to use BIGME AI Note. Click to initialize the settings. Gesture settings? Actually, let's just have them all on for now. Alright, capacitive pen, support handwriting. Yep, please select the Wi-Fi. Okay. I can say now that the display on this is way better than what was on the Xiaomi one. Way better. Log into the AI Note. I'm not going to create an account for this. Also, it says Mobility phone just there. A couple of translation issues, especially on the Amazon page. I did see their video has a couple of translation issues. Okay, tap on the left corner to return to the home page. Pretty sure I understand it. Oh, we've got an upgrade. That's actually good. Alright. Oh, it's a 1.91 gig update. Reduced ghosting in HD and Regal mode. Increased refresh rate up to 21 FPS in extreme mode. Well, I guess we're going to do an update first. The good thing is as well with the case is that you can use it as like a kickstand. You can just stand it up, and if you want to do that, you can. Yeah, I gotta say the display on this looks way better than the previous one. It looks really good so far. Gotta get color first. Okay, it's finished updating. It took about 8 or 9 minutes to do that. So now we've just gotta wait for it to reboot and apply the update, and then we should be right to keep going. Here's the main page of it. So if I swipe down just in the corner here, you can see all of the shortcuts that are here. So we have E-Ink Center. So this is where we can set the ink display to work with whatever I'm doing. So 256 is the best color resolution. HD mode is clear display for general text reading. Then you've got normal mode, faster refresh rate, and suitable for quickly flipping through images and text. Extreme mode, fast refresh with slight detail loss, suitable for web browsing, video streaming, etc. So that's probably going to be good for YouTube and stuff. And Regal mode. This mode has the least ghosting, offering clearer display of text and images, making it suitable for reading. So we have a number of different things we can do there. We can also do a full refresh frequency as well, so that'd be helpful. Once again, you can set more scenarios with the display there. More enhancements. and app optimization. Oh, okay, so if you have third-party apps on here, you can also adjust that so then it works better on the display. So that's pretty cool. I'll just do default for the time being, but I can come back to this when I need to. We also have split screen. On a display this big, you'd be able to get away with doing 2 apps side by side. Process manage. I don't think we're going to have like buttons down the bottom there. Global handwriting. Okay. There is a lot of things to try and figure out about this thing, but I'm kind of getting there. Screenshot, mirrorcast, speed up. Ah, yeah, okay, that speeds it up. Record screen, airplane mode, touch. After disabling hand touch, you can only use the pen to operate. That'll be good for if I want to draw on this thing. My hand's not going to be on the screen, so that's really cool. Power manager, there's all the settings there, which we will come back to. Screen rotation. Accelerometer, nice. So you can use it like this if you want to, or if you'd rather use it like this and have the buttons there, up to you. So let's try out the display. So if I go all the way up to the top, there we go. So I made a mistake on the Xiaomi one. I said it's a backlight. It's actually a front light. And if I just turn my lights off, that's really nice. And if I just bump that all the way up, like so, or if I bump that all the way down, very, very nice. Easy on the eyes, and you've got the different modes there. So lights out, where it's just completely nothing. Daytime, nighttime, bedding, other, which is just probably your own custom one if you want to. I'll probably just have it on daytime for the most part. And media volume is all the way up to the top. And I think that's pretty much it there. So on the side, we have meeting records, which if I just open that up. Oh, so this is a multifunctional thing. So you can do handwriting, you can record voice memos and stuff. So if I just did... Okay. I do want to come back to drawing soon though. Also, there's this little thing down here. Oh, okay, so this is how you navigate. You use this little accessibility menu, I guess, for quick functions there. Notes, you've got a couple examples there. Library, which we'll have to put some stuff on. Storage, which is the 64 gigabytes. Can we see my external storage? We can. App Center. I'm sorry, but Nut Store and Ding Talk are the two things I wasn't expecting. Oh, I'm sorry. But we've got a whole bunch of apps here. I'll get rid of that now. So I'll definitely come back to these. We've got Office stuff on here, voice translation, cloud. There's a lot on here. I'm quite surprised. There's quite a lot of functions on here. So at the top, that's to go back home. This is the shortcut menu for changing the scenarios for the ink display. Then we have the process manage, the applications, and finally settings. AI note B751C on Android 11. Can I check the Easter egg? I think they disabled them on here. Processor, RAM, storage, and screen resolution. I don't know what the octa-core processor is though, as of yet. I've said it at the start of the video, but I'm not too sure what it is at this point in time. Bluetooth, handwriting setting, which seems to all work. Pen calibration, we could do that. Page up and down, which is just setting the keys. And so far there for volume. Sleep time, don't need to do much there. Shutdown, power manage. I started this review at 94%. I had to do the update and stuff. It's at 87%. As I mentioned, that video that tests the battery life really in depth is probably a good source when it comes to the battery life. I'm basically just going to be testing it to see how it goes with just using it for a couple of days and stuff, but I'll get back to that soon. Home screen style, we can do office style and tablet style. Tablet style would probably be easier for me, but we'll leave it on office style. Menu manage, don't have to do much there. Language, system font size, which you can change that if you need to. Date and time, input method, rotation, gesture settings, which, oh yeah, that does work. But then how do I go back to the apps that I was using? Oh, but that's your refresh over there. Okay, so is that the only refresh? Or there, okay, so you can refresh by swiping up or refresh there. That works. Device password, we don't need to do. Google service, which is gonna be for putting my account on here. Account manage, system update, we'll just make sure that there's no other updates. It's okay, it's up to date. Log report, after sales service, and about the device, which was already at the top there, and I can't do much. Alright, so that's all of settings so far. It's not making any sounds. I just thought it might have went beepity boop somewhere. So I guess let's just test the functionality of the applications. Meeting records, I've already quickly showcased. Notes, we'll have an example up on screen. There it all is there, so you can do I need to get milk, I guess. I don't know. Oh, that's erasing. Okay, that's cool. Library, which I need to put something on here. Actually, Google Play Store is here, so I will actually sign into my Google account on this. Alright, well, I'll go ahead and sign in, because I'll put YouTube and Chrome onto here. I think the Stylus is just a lot easier to use, to be fairly honest. It's totally up to you. You can use the touchscreen as normal, but I just reckon the Stylus is just easier. So far, I'm seeing the colors for the display, but I really want to open up something that has a lot of colors to really test it. There we go. Play Store. Let's get YouTube on this. And I can say the performance of this, being that it has 4 gigs of RAM, is super responsive. I keep going back to that Xiaomi device that I had a look at. That was just, it's 1 gig of RAM, super slow with the e-ink display, but with this, it's justifiable because going through different apps and stuff, yeah, you still have the refresh, but that's completely fine because everything's fairly snappy on this. So far, everything's looking fairly good. There's a lot of functionality on this. There's a lot of applications, but I will say once again, I'm going to be testing this more like a tablet, more than just an ebook reader, because we all know that just flipping through ebooks on something like this is going to be perfectly fine, but I'm doing more of a, can we use it for more than just, you know, note taking and stuff like that. Let me also get Chrome on here as well. I'm also going to put DeviceInfoHW on here as well. I honestly have to praise this for being as snappy as it is, and like going through this just normally, I'm not having to continuously refresh it every time I go to something. So that's looking good. So cloud services, we have Baidu NetDisk, BIGME Cloud, Dropbox, Google Drive, and OneDrive, which I'm not going to open any of them up. AI Assistant, which is ChatGPT. Please complete the login first. Let me know you. That would be no. Hello. Hi. Does the microphone work? Hello. Oh yeah, it does work. Maybe it doesn't understand my accent. That's probably why. Yeah, see, there you go. Can't do anything until I log in. All right. But you've got ChatGPT on here if you want to use it. App management. Oh, this should be all the applications. Here we go. This is more Android. So the 3-button navigations are actually here. I wonder if I can go into there and enable them somehow. You would definitely be able to put another launcher on this, that's for sure. Because while this launcher is set up for everything for this e-ink display, it'd be good to just have an alternative if you want to just use a standard launcher. But just sort of going through this, I'll just quickly scroll through the applications here. You can see it is quite choppy, but that's completely fine for any display to be doing that. And I've just opened up something. Don't mind that. Yeah, that's quite normal. But once again, it's a lot more responsive than the previous device, that's for sure. And I'm not sure if there's going to be anything that I'll need to open up in QuickShortcutMaker. There's purple there. But if I need to, I can. And you can also hear the sound of the Stylus touching the display. I'm not going to lie, it kind of is. Well, there's a whole bunch of Chinese apps there. It actually feels like pencil to paper. I mean, it's not quite exactly the same, but it's kind of got that feel to it. And the sound as well. So that I actually do like. Battery, here we go. It should last until about 9:30 PM, which it says 5:30 PM here. So with these sorts of devices, you've only got 2300 milliamp hours to play around with. Just flipping through books, you'll have no problems with battery. But using it as a normal Android tablet, that's when you're going to start to see that battery life drain. As I said, I'll go through this just very briefly and see how the battery holds up. We've got B translation here, which is... okay, so this actually translates a document for you. Not that I have any documents on here. I don't think I'll try all the applications that are on here. I'm just sort of more interested in the hardware sort of side of things. Because we've got browser, calendar, and Chrome. I'm going to go Chrome, because this is where I'm going to start to see some things. Which, I don't know why that is there. Did Google not work? Oh, there we go. So here is Google. So let's look up Disney data breach. That's not helpful. I'm going to look up the Friday the 13th NES box art. I was literally just looking around my office and I'm like, what can I find that has a lot of color? And that's what I seen. Okay. Oh, all right. So if we open this up, I mean, it's color. It's there. And if I zoom in, okay, maybe that's not the best quality image. We need to find another one. There we go. This should be high quality. It's color. It's there. It's not the brightest color, and you can see it ghosting. Right there, you can see it ghosting. So what I would have to do is do a refresh to clear it. But this is also the point where I can come to the e-ink center. See, I've just changed it to magazine, right? I don't think that's supposed to be happening. Comic? Well, that made things worse. Oh no, that made things 10 times worse. Actually, it looks better. Like, the image looks a lot more clearer now every time it's refreshing. It's more accurate. I'm still new to e-ink stuff, so this is really experimental for me. There's custom there, which I can do extreme mode. And then that. Oh, wow, that's better. Oh, that's actually really good. Yeah, okay, there's still ghosting. There's plenty of ghosting, but that's super smooth. I'm going to try gaming on this to see how it goes. Yeah, and then I can change the color brightness. Oh, that's too much. I'm probably using the wrong image for this, but it was just the first thing I thought of. But still, it looks good though. And the text on the back, I can see all of that. Full refresh frequency. If I put that up to 50... Oh, see, look at that. That's smooth. For an e-ink display, that's actually really smooth. This is a lot of stuff that you got to play around with. Obviously, if I played around with all of this and tried to explain all of this, I'd be here forever. But just know that I'm actually quite surprised with this display. It's quite good. However, you are paying a premium for this device, and it does show that you're paying premium because you're getting a display like this on here. Let's just try browsing, for example. Let's just type in B751C. I'll just open up the web page and look at that. Super fast. And I can zoom in, and that's, yeah, it's expensive. $455 Australian for this with the case and stylus. Now, this advertisement here on an actual proper display, it looks really vibrant, but on any display, it's as it is because it's color. So, if I change it to normal, see how it's a little bit jittery now? If I put it on to extreme, that's when I get that performance there. If you're using this just for ebooks, okay, you're just wanting to read stuff on here, you're probably just going to leave it as default and not do anything. But if you're trying to do other stuff with it and use a whole bunch of apps and stuff, you're going to probably have to keep coming to this and changing it and experimenting with what you want. Because then you can come to app optimization and change that as well. And then, yeah, come back to the e-ink center and apply everything that you need to optimize your browsing experience on this. But yeah, you can see the ghosting there, but that's still not as bad as that Xiaomi device. But if I wanted to browse the web on this, I'd be able to. Not a problem. I think it's quite reasonable for web browsing. But you can see that battery life. It's starting to slowly drop because I'm using a browser on this. Color dictionary? Or color dict. See, on an all black display, you'll see the icons left over from the previous screen, but you can just go here, refresh. That's it, done. So we have a dictionary here, so if I was to just do welcome. Welcome is a kind of greeting. Oh. And that opens up Wikipedia. Someone needs to edit Wikipedia and have welcome devices as well. Or maybe just make a welcome phone wiki page. That'll be fun. Now, I'm actually going to go into DeviceInfoHW because I want to actually see what specs I am running in this. So we have an MT6765 in it, which I believe is a Helio processor. Helio P35, which is based on TSMC? MediaTek TSMC? What? That doesn't make sense, but yeah, MT6765, Helio P35, which is more than enough for something like this. System is all good there. Screen 1680 by 1264. Really odd screen resolution. Should be 5-point multi-touch. No, only 2-point multi-touch. Memory, 4 gig. Cameras, obviously nothing, but supported though. Power profile says 4000 milliamp hours, but should only be 2300 that's in here. A bunch of sensors for thermal, and then actual sensors themselves. Supposedly we have everything but a barometer in this. I'll keep going through the standard apps, and then I'll get to installing Geekbench, probably San Andreas, and QuickShortcutMaker. You do have Kindle on here as well, if you have an account with Kindle, and all your ebooks on here. You can just put it on here and off you go. Logo customize. What is this? Oh, I'm not too sure exactly what I'm doing. Music! I guess we'll do BFG Division. Oh my god! Okay, that's kind of threw me off there. The Doom picture art though, I think that looks pretty good. Considering that it's all tiny little capsules and stuff like that that make up the image, I'm pretty stoked with that. Don't mind me being a little excited over this thing. Get an idea of the speak quality on this. Oh. Oh. Volume buttons do work, by the way. Okay, it's not the best speaker. It's not the best speaker. I assume it's just going to be a tiny little one that's in there, though. It's loud, but it's not the clearest. I mean, if you're just reading and stuff, I'm sure you're not going to be wanting to listen to heavy metal while you read. I mean, you can, it's up to you. The speaker quality is not the best, but it's okay though. I also need to draw something on here with some color as well, so we'll get to that. The navigation ball, which, oh, you can completely customize it. The size of the floating ball. Whee! Oh, there you go, it's bigger now. But you can set that navigation ball to have whatever you want on there if you want to. OneNote, Microsoft. Hello. So, yep, you can do that. Of course, Microsoft wants data. No, thank you. Online text-to-speech? Xiao Xiao. Yes. Hello. Wait, did that work? I'm just going to leave that because I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't want to say that I know what I'm talking about when I don't know what I'm talking about. Screensaver? Here we go. Select image. Oh, well, there's a bunch of images there, including me looking silly and the SMOOREZ logo and potato pictures as well, so you could do that if you want. I have to put a picture of Ripley on here as well so we can see that. Settings we've been through, user guide, WPS Office Lite, which is going to help for taking all notes and all that sort of stuff. We've got Xmail, Xphoto, and YouTube. So I'll open up YouTube. Let's look up Costa Rica 4K on YouTube, and off we go. Okay. So this is going to be quite fun. So now if I put this on extreme, this should essentially look really good. Alright, so this is what video looks like on this. Maybe I should bump it up to more than 360p. Let's do 720p. I mean, you can watch videos on this. I'm quite surprised. It's actually cool to see it working as it is. That is just impressive to me. And once again, you'll have to go into that little settings menu to change it to whatever you need to be. But like, look at this though. This is little capsules doing stuff. It's magic. It's really awesome. Once again, this is just all my opinion. And because I've received this as a sample, I'm trying to put my mindset into a consumer sort of thing. The price for this is just sticking in my head. But so far, the functionality of this seems to be fairly good. $450 worth? Maybe not so. But the actual display technology for me is just really exciting. So let me go onto my SD card. Let's open up a few things. Oh, so there's PDFs already on here. So we can open them up with WPS Office Lite. We'll just try that. Oh, there's our sunflower. Oh, that's cute. There's a bunch of EPUBs already on here by default. So let's just open one just to see what it looks like. Page up, submenu, and page down. Yep, and then you just use the buttons. That's good. And just scrolling through this, I can see the ghosting in the background, but it's honestly not that bad. You can manually refresh if you want to. And then the best part is like you can just be like, yep. Oh, well, you can draw on it. Be like, that there. Blah, 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 use that as a note later on, I'll come back to that. I mean, not that this is a new functionality or anything like that, but you get what I mean. Can I open CBZ files? Yep. I can. Strange that that doesn't work though. I can't use that to go to the next page. Yeah, that looks fairly good. I mean, it looks a bit black and white from far away, but if I zoom up, you can see that looks really good. I'm just really impressed with the technology of the display. It's just so cool. I'm going to try X-Reader just to see if it's any different, but here is the Doom Bible, which I can go through this and look at this, how fast it is compared to that Xiaomi. That is so much better. So I can definitely say that ebook reading is not going to be a problem. Ebook reading, comics, whatever, not going to be an issue. So you just have your text on screen. Can I zoom in? Yep, to the word Doom. It's getting a little laggy here. Oh, that's it. That's the max you can go to. But you can install your own ebook applications. That's not a problem. Whatever works. I'm just using the default ones. Next, I want to just go to a picture of Ripley. I'll open up this with Xphoto. And there's Ripley there. Look at that. That is so impressive. Wow. That looks so awesome. See, and I can set that as the standby picture. And I assume that if I just press the button... Oh, look! I get to see Ripley on the display. Oh, okay. I'm happy with that. That's really awesome. I know this review's all over the place. I apologize for that because I really just didn't have a proper layout of how I wanted to do this. I just wanted to go into this with an open mind and just test it how it is. Now, originally I installed Sketchbook to do drawing on this. However, Sketchbook is extremely slow on this, which is a bit strange because I've used Sketchbook on a device with only 4 gigs of RAM before and it was more than enough. But like, if I draw a circle, see that lag there? So then I went back to the notes page, and as you can see in here, it's nice and fast. And you can actually see the pressure sensitivity on the stylus and everything. and don't mind the nightmare fuel picture, that's completely fine. That's actually quite good. So if you're wanting to do drawing on this, don't use Sketchbook because it's going to make it lag. But if you just use the inbuilt notes here to do whatever, so like to do with like the pressure sensitivity is a little bit iffy at the moment, but you can go into settings and change that. It does feel a bit slow in some areas, but altogether though, it's not that bad. I can easily do notes on this and it's not a problem. The stylus itself is far from perfect. It's more than enough for taking notes, and throughout this whole review I've been using the stylus and it's been no problems, but just, you know, take into consideration because it's an E-Ink display, it's not going to be super precise. You get the point. Sorry, I'm drawing terrible. Not that I'm drawing at all, I'm just scribbling. And also another thing to take into consideration is going to the E-Ink Center and then setting it to, for example, extreme. The notes feel a lot more fluid if you do it that way. So once again, it's just a matter of coming back to the settings and changing them to work with whatever you're using. You can see the colors up there. And while I've been very excited about using a color ink display, the colors don't exactly pop. The colors are there, don't get me wrong. We have colors, but they're very sort of muted. I have a feeling that color ink just needs a bit more refinement to get there. That's red on the display there. You can see that as I'm drawing, all the little capsules are doing their thing. And then if I was to use blue, for example, I mean, as I said, there's colors there, but they're just not as vibrant as I would have hoped for. But I'm still impressed with the technology regardless. I can't say that the technology is horrible, it's just it needs a bit more refinement to be even better than what it is currently. But look, I'm happy with it. My opinion is I'm happy with it, but am I $450 happy with it? And the answer for that one is probably not really. But I think I'll talk about that more during the conclusion. Oh, you can just draw straight over that if you want to. Okay, I didn't know you could do that, but yeah, that just gives you a good idea of the display. And I've already shown the colors during browsing and stuff, but I just wanted to clarify that it's not perfect. But in my honest opinion, I do like this. As a person who doesn't use a lot of ink displays, and I've only just recently used one, from that to this is a big jump. And as I said, this is not perfect, but it's fairly good for what it is, considering that price. At this point in time, I've sort of went over the main functions of this in this rather all over the place review. I think I've went over the most important parts of this so far, and I'm quite impressed with this. I'm happy with the display. I'm happy with the functionality that's on here. While the drawing isn't perfect and the stylus isn't perfect, it's fairly good for what it is. I want to go ahead and just push it a little bit further, just a tiny bit. So what I want to do is install San Andreas. I want to put Geekbench on here, and I'll do QuickShortcutMaker as well. Apps have been installed, so open up Geekbench 5, which I don't remember if I've tested a Helio P35 on the channel before. Let's just run the benchmark, and I'll keep an eye on the battery as well while I do this. I've lost track of time, but the Geekbench test has been running for about, I don't know, 4 hours or something. We're at 51%. I have a feeling that this is not going to complete at all. Also, the battery life is now at 41%, so if I've been testing this for about 4 hours or so, that gives me a rough idea on battery life on this. I mean, this is benchmarking at the moment, so it's holding up fairly well, but it still gives me an idea that using normal functions, like a normal Android device, you'd be right for the most part, but let me just see how this goes anyways. I'll just leave it and see what happens. So as you just seen, I tried running Geekbench on this and left it for several hours, and it just wouldn't complete. So I decided to leave it for another 4 hours, testing Geekbench, and the device was dead. That gives me a good idea of the battery life. So once again, coming back to the battery life on this. Using it for ebooks and stuff, no problems. Using more intensive programs on this, because it's Android, is going to result in that battery life dropping quite quickly. Especially if you're using the Frontlight as well while using this. If the Frontlight's off, that'll save a bit of power, but if you're doing some browsing on this and it's continuously refreshing, it's probably not going to be as good as just a static image, reading it, going to the next page, etc. I hope that makes sense. And also, charging is super slow on this. It's only 5 volt at 1 amps, but it took a decent 2.5 hours to get it back from 0% to 100%. So that's just a bit of a downside there. So unfortunately, with Geekbench failing, I can't do much there. So what I really want to do is open up San Andreas and try some gaming on this. We'll try it on default, and then we'll try different settings in-game to see what the best configuration is to play games. Not that you're really meant to play games on this, I'm just doing this for more of a curiosity sake for me. But let's see how it goes. You can tell the colors there are very, very washed out, and it's a bit laggy. So if we come to this and set it to custom, and then go extreme. I'll put it to max, I'll put the resolution up, the draw distance up, I'll put it to advanced. It's going to be a lot better than what the Moaan was, but let's just see how this goes.
After 5 years on the East
I mean,
Coast.
it's there. There we go. Oh wow. I mean, it's definitely something, isn't it? It just crashed. Come on, man. Oh, it worked good for 3 seconds. Let's try it again. Oop. Okay, it's fine now. Oh, wow. I mean, it's playable. This is playable. Granted, it doesn't look the best, for obvious reasons. So let's go to the top here and change the settings. So, vivid enhancement, did that make a difference? Oh yeah, I know, I'm moving out of the way. What does regal look like? Okay, that's regal, which you don't want to do that. Each time it's refreshing, it looks good. Like, look at that, that looks really good. The colors are actually a lot more vibrant, and that's normal. Which, if I bump the settings down ever so slightly, that might get a bit more smooth. It's reasonable. Alright, let's put anti-shake on, extreme, contrast at 0, vivid enhancement at 100, color brightness at 0, and full refresh at 50. So let's see what it looks like now. I mean, it's smooth, but it's looking a little something like that. It's definitely an experience. It's kind of like if you're really tired and you're trying to play a game of San Andreas. It's kind of like that. But let's just praise the technology of the e-ink display. It's all little capsules doing that. And that's cool. But it's not meant for full-on gaming. But it's still fun though. Let's try video. Let's see what video looks like. That's not bad actually. The ghosting is still there. You can notice that for sure. But it's altogether, it's not bad until it crashes. So that's gaming on this. That was fun. And I hope I've explained a bit about using the e-ink center and how that all works. I know it's been very butchered during this review because I've edited most of the footage down already and the review is just all over the place. And I guess this isn't really a review, it's more of just a play around with this to see how good the display technology is. But we've got one last thing before I jump into a conclusion, and that's QuickShortcutMaker. Let me just go through this real quickly and see if there's anything that I need to open. Oh, camera's here. But of course, not going to do anything because we don't have a camera. Can I actually open up normal settings? Yeah, I can. I can open up normal settings. Instead of the launcher that they give you, you can use normal settings on this. Game! Hello? There's games on here? Okay. This is fun. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Entry bucket hamster. Oh, can I play this? Oh, I can't play it. Oh. Okay, anyways. What's X setting? This is probably what the launcher is actually called. Is X setting. Yeah, that's it. Then we have a couple of other ones here by JXW, which are all in Chinese, and I don't really know what any of it is, but there's no system stuff that I can open up to do anything, so I don't think there's anything dodgy here. It's just mainly Chinese applications that are on here for all that sort of stuff that I'm not going to be using. I didn't notice the two AI things up the top there, but anyways. I think that's pretty much everything on this. I've tested videos, gaming, I've checked the specs, I've tried to do benchmarking, I've used the display to the best of my abilities, I've checked the battery life on this, I've shown you colors, I've explained pretty much everything that I'd need to, and while I haven't been over absolutely everything on this device, like opening up every single application and checking everything, I think this video gives you a rough idea on this device. And what I've already said previously, the price is just not worth it for this. If this was $250, right there, $250, case and stylus, I'd say, yeah, straight away, that's cool because it's color e-ink. It's awesome. But it's $450 Australian for this. An Android tablet with the same specifications, you're looking at 150, maybe a little bit more. You can get some decent budget tablets for 200 that have better specs, but they're LCD. So it's more, how much more money can you justify on top of a tablet that has, 4 gigs of RAM, Helio P35, and 64 gigs of storage, plus that ink display? Is it really worth that, $250 extra? I don't think it is. As I've said, the ink display is awesome. From my opinion, it's a really cool technology, and the black and white e-ink concept is there. That's pretty much done and dusted. We know how that works. But with color e-ink, it's just not quite there as of yet. But it's good enough if you wanted color on an e-ink display. As I said, I'm impressed by the technology, but you folks out there that are used to e-ink displays and have tried color before may say that, yeah, this is not really the best. Like I said, the colors just, they don't pop. Like red doesn't look like red, it looks more like pink sort of thing. But from the pictures that I showed earlier and stuff, the display's sort of like a 6.5 out of 10 kind of thing. The front light's good on it, and the resolution itself is good, and it's responsive with the several modes it comes with and all that sort of thing. I can praise this device. I do like it. It's just the price. That's really ultimately what's hitting me, is the price of this. And considering that BIGME does have better tablets with cameras and stuff that have e-ink, they start to jump up in price. This is just the budget model of a color e-ink one. That's probably the biggest criticism on this, is the price. Because I just can't really justify that $450 for it. Because I've got this as a sample, I can easily say, yeah, it's fantastic, it's great and stuff, but I have to give this into a consumer perspective. That price, it's steep for something like this, but e-ink isn't cheap. Well, accordingly anyways, e-ink's not that cheap, but it's still technology that I personally like, but it's just not quite there in the world of e-ink. Another thing I can also praise is the feeling of the stylus and the screen. It does feel quite good. It does kind of feel like paper, and the sound as well. It's kind of like a pencil to paper. It's kind of cool. Another thing as well, the speaker's not too good on this, but it'll do. And also with the stylus, this isn't perfect, but for this, it will do. I have noticed that the stylus disconnects randomly. If you take this away for a bit and then come back, sometimes it doesn't recognize, but for the most part, it's fine. And the stylus, you can just do that and there you go, gone. The functionality of the stylus is good, it's just not too precise with this. So all up for this in this really long rambly conclusion in a video that's not really super in-depth. I like this, but I don't think it's $450 likable. If you can find it cheaper, $250 or something like that, it'd be really cool to read a whole bunch of comics and stuff like that on here and take some notes and all that sort of good stuff. But then if you wanted to buy this and then do web browsing and do more functionality in terms of using Android, then you're going to start to see that battery life drain as well. So the battery is also not the greatest on this. But as I said, if you're just looking at ebooks and comics and all that, you'll be fine. But we're not quite done just yet because I want to take it apart. I actually could have just left it on, but if I shut it down, it does that. And it's off. Which should be fairly easy to get into. Another positive I can say for this is that it stayed cool the entire review. Didn't heat up at all. So I think the way we can get into this is just taking the back off. I think that should just pop off fairly easy. Yep, that's it. Wow, okay, so that's inside of it. We do have a very, very thin battery just there, but it should be 2300 milliamp hours. Peeling the sticker off, yep, 2300 milliamp hours, so that's all good there. The loudspeaker's just there, which is just a normal, usual one that we've seen on other devices before. I do have a bunch of flex cables there. Type-C port is on its own separate board, so if that does stuff up, you can at least replace it. Got the micro SD card slot just there. The motherboard, which I can actually take the shielding off if we want to have a look at it. We've got a module there, which is a AI win, and then we've got a Kingston module there. That's our 64 gigs of storage, and that's our 4 gigs of RAM. And then we have the MediaTek MT6765V, which is the Helio P35. We've got a whole bunch of other components on there, but that is pretty much all that's inside of this. Also, there's magnets in there, so I wonder if it does communicate with the case, with those little magnets. When I had the device off and was flipping the case, it didn't do anything, but with the device on, those magnets that you just seen inside of it actually do something. It turns off the screen, turns it on. Turns it off, turns it on. So that's pretty neat. Didn't even know that. I would have eventually figured it out, but it was when I seen the magnets inside of this, I went, maybe this does do something, and sure enough it does. All the snappity snaps are snapped back on. I'll just make sure that the device still works, which it all looks like it does. So I think I can call this a review done of the BIGME B751C. And as I've said, it's not a perfect review by any means. I'm just more curious to see how e-ink worked, and I think I've demonstrated how this color display works, and I'd be definitely interested to try more e-ink devices down the track, but at the moment I just wanted to check this one out because it was offered to me by BIGME. So a massive thank you to BIGME for sending this sample out to me for review. I really do appreciate it. As I said during the conclusion, while this is not a perfect device and the price is a bit high, it is still cool for what it is, in my opinion. And once again, I was not paid by BIGME for this review. They just sent this out to me for review to give my honest feedback on, and that's what I've done. So I hope I've been able to deliver a somewhat reasonable review. I know this review is all over the place and it's not as in-depth as others out there. I've tried my best to explain everything I can in this one. If you are interested in taking a look at this product, I'll leave a link in the description below for you to check it out if you want to. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that. I won't be paid for any sales. It's just there for your convenience if you just want to check what they say about it, which once again, in their listing it said, similar to the Kindle Oasis, but better. I've never used a Kindle Oasis, so you'll have to tell me if it's anything close to it. And if you're currently hearing me ramble to you about this device, that means you've made it to the end of the video. So thank you so much for watching this one. I really do appreciate it. And I know that it was a sample review, but you know, they offered it to me and I'm like, oh, I really want to try color e-ink. So I was a sucker and said, yeah, okay, sure, send me it. I know sample reviews are not for everybody, and now that I've accepted a whole bunch of them to do, you're going to be seeing sample review, sample review, sample review. So I hope that's not going to bother too many people. Just stick with me here, okay? This channel is mostly taking a look at cheapo products, but I do like to take a look at some other products from time to time. I also do want to be fair with what I'm sent out and give an honest review on. I hope I've been able to do that. But anyways, folks, that's looking at this device. Feel free to let me know what you thought of this one down in the comments below if you think this video was at least reasonable enough. But yeah, let me know about the product and what you think of it, if you think it's worth it, or if you think that it's just not quite there. I'm really interested to hear your feedback on this one. But I'm going to leave it here because I'll continue rambling for no reason. So thank you all so much for watching once again. I really do appreciate it. And as always, please take care, stay safe, be good people. I'll see you all in the next one. Why am I doing weird hand gestures? That's all good. I'll see you in the next one, which will be more sample stuff. My schedule's all over the place at the moment, trying to get things done as quickly as possible. So expect to see sporadic videos all over the place. But until the next time I see you all, keep being awesome. I know you're all awesome. I'll see you all soon. Bye.
If you like this content, feel free to leave a like or a dislike if you didn't. Thanks heaps for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.